Hi everyone.
Hi guys.
It's so lovely to see you. Um, this is the sort of eve, isn't it, of lockdown three, I guess, almost.
Yeah, for London.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't really affect us in terms of being able to do Zoom chats and smell amazing. So we thought we'd just bring you another little cheeky video. And we have someone that I'm ashamed to say I don't own a single perfume of yet. I will. I absolutely will. But Dan has probably a million, and it is a huge fan, as am I. Who are we with today?
um, Francesca Bianchi. So
Lovely
she,
Francesca Bianchi.
Francesca, very kindly sent us these samples. I'm just gonna. I don't know if it's gonna focus. I got an email a few weeks ago saying your order from Francesca Bianchi is on the way. I thought, oh. Did I do some more drunk ordering last night? I couldn't remember.
Was
But she
I
did.
1 o'clock in the morning?
But no, she'd kindly just sent us a sample of this new fragrance, which I up until then I hadn't heard of at all, wasn't aware of at all. So thank you very much, Francesca, for sending us this. And I'm just going to be
Thanks for
honest as
making it.
well and say that I don't know if I mentioned, Joe, that I've just ordered a bottle of this.
Yes.
Just paid for a bottle because I really like this one. Let's get stuck into it. Well, the bottles look like this. I've got my little bottle of Under My Skin here. It's at 98 euros for a 30 ml X-ray.
That's very good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you think 100 euros for a 30 ml sounds a lot, but it is X-ray, and if you smell these, I really don't think you will question the value at all.
And one spray will really carry you through an entire day, won't it? I mean, it's potent stuff.
Yeah, yes. And it's, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute when we spray, but this stuff smells expensive. It really does smell expensive. So Tyger Tyger, so based on a poem by William Blake, Tyger, Tyger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye has framed thy fearful symmetry? And Joe's going to do the next 5 verses. Off you go, Joe.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Oh shit, I'm getting confused. No, do you know it's a great little poem though, isn't it? And it's sort of a prowling, mysterious, dangerous sort of thing, but actually it's not overt in the sense of, it's not overt in the sense of kind of tigers chasing you down the street and jumping on you, which some people probably have in their heads. It's kind of jungle mystery and darkness and
awe, and also
caged.
In the poem, there's a lot about the kind of like the forging, like who could have like forged, or like almost in fire. There's a lot about light and fire and heat. Who could have forged a creature like this? And I think this, in her little blurb description, she talks about the balance between kind of brightness and dark, between refined and almost chaotic, dangerous, sexy. We've said in some of our past videos when we've talked about chypres, it's that balance of brightness and darkness, which is where the kind of the magic happens.
Yeah.
And for me,
it has to be there.
It's here. It's here. It's really good. I would say if you hadn't read any of that and you just went by the name Tyger Tyger, you might have been expecting something with a big growl that's quite big and fierce. I don't think that's the case with this. I don't think it's not, I mean, I hate the term, but it's not a beast mode fragrance. It's a beautiful,
not at all.
elegant, rich. Anyway, let's, should we get stuck in? I've just got a tiny bit left. I think I can just spray out until my
I've got it. I just put a dose on there now.
Bottle arrives. But
very classical. It's very, very classical.
Yeah. That first spray, it's so juicy and rich with kind of fruit and flowers, and it's lush and thick.
There's a big white florals going on there, isn't there? And a lot of kind of stewy, peachy stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's almost
like a peachy syrup.
Yeah, I almost think it's like jam or like a compote or something like that. It feels so thick, and it's not even, if it's fruit, it's kind of overripe fruit. But if not, it's kind of like jam. Oh. But isn't it amazing that, I'm somebody who doesn't really like sweet fragrances, and we've just talked about chewy florals and big juicy kind of peachy jam, but yet it's somehow not too sweet.
No, not at all. Not at all. Everything seems balanced. It seems to me like where you've got a sort of honey note, that you might also have a sort of quite savoury, biscuity quality to it as well, rather than just out and out sugary, syrupy sweetness.
And also, I mean, the other thing is, we talked about, this fragrance smelling expensive. From very first spray, we're not just getting a twang of top notes. I feel there's so much depth and richness and, luxury. It smells expensive. It smells like it's a fragrance which has got a lot behind it. It's not just a bing bang bong bong.
Yeah, and it's unmistakably Francesca Bianchi.
Yeah, I'm just now on card starting to get that Bianchi that DNA, that slightly kind of like, there's that kind of orangey leathery quality with some resinous, real kind of dark focus center.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like only she could make this. I immediately smell it. I was saying to you earlier, I immediately smell it, and I think was it one of those others that I had smelt but just couldn't quite put my finger on, having only just smelt this for the first time. I couldn't immediately think of any other perfumer that could make this.
Yeah, I certainly got
such a signature.
I certainly got hints of bits of Under My Skin, Lost in Heaven, Lover's Tale. As I said just before we started recording the video, there's an extent to which this kind of anthologizes a lot of her other fragrances. But yet, I mean, that sounds, maybe I'm kind of like cheapening it because it's just a load of old things, kind of rehashed. I don't think it is. It's amazing, isn't it? It feels, it's when you smell a perfume like this, which there's such a kind of nod to the past. You could say it's a mid 20th century big luxurious chypre. But yeah, it doesn't feel dated, does it? There's something about...
No, not at all. It's like clearly has a complete and utter respect for the genre, and it completely makes tribute to things like Mitsuko, and clearly knows how to put together a textbook chypre, but still smells completely modern and completely novel.
Yeah,
and I think it's part of that signature accord that she's using there. And I think it is, for me, it is about the iris butter thing. That's the thing I've found in so many fragrances. Maybe that's just my nose and it's something else that's not iris butter. But to me, it makes it unrecognizable. What's the word? Not unrecognizable. Unmistakably her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very smooth as well.
Oh god, it's so smooth, and the way it just it does move when it kind of shifts, and you've kind of got this jammy honey overripe fruit as well as these chewy white florals, and then you've got this nice leathery aspect as well as having a kind of oak mossy direction. Just it moves and glides without you ever thinking you've completely lost. It's not like the top completely disappears and then we move to just an oak moss dry down. Everything's swimming around beautifully.
It reminds me of a little bit. It's not that so much it reminds me of a smell, but it reminds me a little bit of something of the way that Chanel in those exclusives range used the kind of the iris to create a leathery accord.
Yeah,
it's like Quai Russi, for instance.
Yeah,
it's not quite the same thing, but it's using florals in a way that somehow give it a leathery, suede-y feel.
Yeah,
and I think that's what I'm getting there. I don't get an out-and-out leather, but I do get a sort of floral suede effect.
Well, yeah, what you don't get is any kind of like harsh, birchy leather. It's not that at all, is it? It's you're right. It kind of comes from this orangey root. God, it's so nice, and it's just
a leather you find in your garden.
When you like when you wear it on skin more than card, it's one of those ones you just kind of get like throughout the day. You get a waft of something, and think, God, what's that? Oh, it's me. I smell amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. And
I
yet,
have that every day.
but isn't it? We were talking about a little bit about kind of value for money, and 98 euros for 30 mils sounds expensive, but in our maybe last but 2 videos, we talked about Chypre du Nord by Bortnikov, a house we really like, really great perfumer, Dmitry Bortnikov, but that was a $350 for a 50 mil. So this is quite a lot cheaper, and this is significantly better
By a mile.
in every single way possibly, really.
And also, I mean, I know this might sound like a stupid thing to say, but I think what this does brilliantly is it actually harkens back to the time when perfume was for everybody. And Estee Lauder, for instance, making perfume a kind of affordable luxury for everyone. It wasn't about the exclusivity. And the same with Guerlain as well. Really, it was the side of luxury that people could have in their homes. And I think a lot of the astronomical prices that we're seeing from some houses, which to people like us and sort of real fragrance enthusiasts, are something that we would consider.
Yeah,
I think this is a price that you would easily find in a sort of high street store.
but also, I mean,
for a big bottle of the latest Chanel or
look
Dior.
at this. If I can get the thing to focus, but if you look at these bottles, they are they're elegant little things, but it's a very, very humble, plain little bottle. Comes in just a cardboard box. What you are paying for really is just the juice inside. And I think your average person on the street would pay 100 euros for a bottle of perfume. They might expect to get 100 ml, but then they would get 100 ml EDT, whereas this is an X-ray 30 ml lasts beautifully.
You could buy 100 ml of badly put together chemical crap. Or you can buy something that someone has made with passion and love and spent time on. I don't think there's any contest.
So we've mainly talked about the kind of the start and the middle of this. What is also is the base of this. It does turn you to a slightly more kind of like jungle flory, as you would kind of hope from a Chypre. But there is this. When I read her release of this, I saw that it includes some oud, and I thought, are we going to get? Is this going to be an oud fragrance from Francesca Bianchi? And it's not an oud fragrance. I don't think you come around going, that's an oud fragrance. But what I think the oud does is it just adds some slightly. She almost uses it as a sort of animalic base. I think in the same way that Thierry Reinhold, TRNP, she doesn't use synthetics, and she doesn't want to use animalics for ethical reasons. So she uses oud as an animalic, and I wonder that's just slightly what Francesca's done here to kind of create this. It ties in with the kind of woodiness of the jungle, which goes with the tiger. But there's just that little bit of funk, little bit of warmth, little bit of sexiness that when you put it on skin, it really comes to life. Without, as I said, it's not. This is not an oud-centric fragrance at all, I don't think.
It's more a feel, isn't it? It's like you can often not really detect in terms of smell ambergris in a fragrance, but you're aware of the feel that it gives, and you're aware of a kind of a roundness that it gives it, or sometimes a sort of slightly salty texture. It's the same sort of thing here. And I get quite a bit of sort of tobacco-y, barky, like oak moss. I don't know quite. It feels like an accord of oak moss with a sort of a blonde tobacco or something like that going on.
There's definitely a kind of dense, heavy leaf thing, and it's actually, I think this tiger. The name. You wonder whether you take it literally as a tiger in the jungle, or you take it, in the context of the poem. But if we're talking about literally, whilst I don't get that quite so much, I do get the idea of the of a jungle with these kind of overripe flowers and overripe fruit, and then later, as you're saying, you're kind of getting this kind of leafy, oak mossy, tobacco leaf, lots of kind of the floor of the jungle.
Yeah, which is what you want in a Chypre, really, isn't it? Because for me, it's all about the balance between the sort of fruitiness of the top and the mossiness of the bottom. and the sort of slight lightness, slight darkness, or morning to night, that kind of idea, that kind of contrast. And it's why I wasn't a massive fan of which one was it? The Chypre from Bortnikov. I liked it, but I found it played too much on the dark, smoky side, and I missed the balance. I didn't get the elegance or the plushness. This is very plush by comparison, and feels like the way they did it once upon a time in France.
But isn't it amazing? Because it is like you've got this jammy, all like kind of honey, like it's like a honey kind of jammy. There are things which, when you describe them, like this, it should be very sweet, kind of honey, jam, sweet flowers. But yet, it's. I don't think it's a sweet perfume. Because that balance is there.
And you can actually choose what you want to focus on. You can smell it and find the sweetness and enjoy that, or you can decide I'm going to ignore the sweetness and I'm going to go for the savory sort of the moss and the leather underneath, and you can get those in equal measure. Your nose can really shift to whatever you choose. I think that's a great thing. Nothing dominates.
Yeah.
Nothing overtakes it.
I was saying that to Joe. I remember when Francesca sent these samples. When I first received it, I was getting over COVID, so I had kind of slightly lost my smell for a little while. And the first spray, I think my sense of smell wasn't quite back. So then I left it for a week or so, and then I returned it to kind of test it and sample it some more. And it was then I thought, oh, this is really like, this is Francesca at her best. And I thought I have to get a bottle. I also thought, in 2 weeks' time, our country are going to absolutely shag themselves in the face. And it might become more complicated to get things from Europe. So I thought, if I'm going to buy anything from Europe, now is the time to do it. And it's a bottle that I can't wait to have. Awesome. I mean,
really amazing.
Double thumbs.
I mean, I still want to smell her leather fragrance that she did recently. I've not smelled that.
The quick, no, yeah. I don't think I'd
be very interested to see what that's like.
It was a limited edition release, maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, she does.
I need to smell all of them again. Actually, I need to remind myself of the whole lot. But
if anyone knows,
it's absolutely a perfect.
If anybody knows, about the queer, anyone can tell us more
let
about
us know. But I like how classical it is. I know that sounds really stupid to say, but more and more I like fragrances that respect where they've come from. And they're not just out to be daring and revolutionary and bold for the sake of it. They're actually they're doing a really traditional form, but with personality.
But what she's done well is that it's all of those things without just being like, a carbon copy or, it's very
absolutely.
much her, isn't it?
Yeah, all the way.
It's not Galen, it's not, Cotti, it's not anyone else. It's Francesca Bianchi.
Better than anything Galen have done for years and years and years.
For a long, 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 long time. Magic.
Wow.
We love it. It's brilliant. Double thumbs.
At some point, I am going to buy some of these. Maybe not this year, but I will. I promise.
But if you have tried the queer, because we've reviewed a few of her fragrances, not all of them. So if you think there are any omissions which we need to seek out, let us know. But I think you can tell that we are big fans. Top banana. Until next time, happy sniffing.